I have several raised beds that I've had since last year. You can see I have these blackberry bushes in a raised bed, but that's not actually even really necessary. There's a chop back. This used to be a two-tier raised bed for some strawberries. And if you're wondering how I filled up that center portion, I didn't use all dirt. Half of it is actually logs to fill in the space. And I have this long bed that I actually took off from this one. It was actually 2 planks high, but you can see that's unnecessary as well. So I use that other section to make another length of bed that I'll use for carrots, which already has some perlite mixed in it with it too from other garden pots. It's nice mixture, nice well draining mixture. I just have that wrapped up until I'm ready to put out carrots. Oh yeah, and this bed over here is actually a sorrel, French sorrel. If you ever wondered what that is, it has it's like a lettuce salad material. It has a nice lemon lime kick to it. Here's a bed I already have filled in, where I've used 2 old boards. Actually, you can see where they were cut for stairs for my deck, and then a couple of actual deck boards on the front and back to hold everything in. And these boards right here, the composite plastic decking boards, are great for beds, and that's all I'm going to make beds with now on. You can make them with cedar, which will last a long time. You can make them with the womanized lumber, the treated lumber, like that is. Although you want to try to stay away from using the treated lumber as much as possible, because it has a lot of nasty stuff in there to keep mold and fungus from growing through it. But I've never seen anybody's plants suffer because of it. But if you're trying to do organic, you might also try not to use it. And that's why I'm moving all to the plastic composite decking board. I think this brand is Trex. I know Home Depot, Lowe's, all the hardware stores have their own brands. But you can see I've cut these 8-foot length boards in half to give me 2 4-foot sections. So I have 8x4 beds, and I've used decking screws to screw them together. And these are good screws because they have like 2 different sets of threads on them, so when you screw into one, it'll force the board that goes through the second set of screwing to jam itself up against it. And when you screw the stuff together, it's so tough, you have to drill a pilot hole first. Otherwise, you run the risk of breaking the board or really burning out your drill, because you'll go through an entire battery of a cordless drill trying to put a few of these together. It's so tough. But these two, and this one over here as well, will be used for sweet potatoes. And last year I did sweet potatoes in pots, large pots, and they did okay, but I'm pretty sure they're going to do better in a raised bed. And of course, you see all this, I have to take a weed eater and chop up all that grass first. These 3 beds on the side I'll be using for cucumbers. I'll put in some posts and those hoops as well, and that way the PVC hoops will also tie some string down from it, allow the cucumbers to grow up through to the hoop, and then all the hoops will give more surface area for the greenery to get around. It won't take many plants to fill these up, but I have 3 different types of cucumbers. I might even put some in the field as well, depending on how well they do. But yeah, I gotta weed whack all these out too, and then I'm going to fill them up full of mushroom compost. This raised bed I have for carrots, you can see the landscape fabric is wider than the bed. So what I'm going to do is roll the fabric up and staple gun it, because I don't want to go over it with the weed whacker. You see, even with these blocks laying it down, I'm not going to be able to get the weed whacker in there without tearing the fabric up eventually. So yeah, just give it about 2 rolls up. It should staple gun pretty good. Yeah. Should probably do a staple like every 8 inches or so all the way around it, because the wind will come here, and if it's not stapled down well enough, the wind will rip it up. So I was going to use this compost pile that's 2 seasons old, but you can see there's still some brown to it, brown from the sawdust blocks that hasn't fully composted down. So it's still a bit hot, and you can see how much water it holds and how kind of heavy of a look it has too. When your compost is fully composted, it'll turn that nice jet black like topsoil, and it'll have much more of a loamy, drainable texture. There's no way I could use this straight like I use the three-year-old stuff. That's composted fully enough down that it won't cause any problems. So what I'm going to have to do is mix half of this, or mix my beds half peat and half this compost to cut it down a bit, and then also add some ground up limestone to it to raise the pH, because with all the composting action going on, you're adding humic acid, which is going to lower the pH, and then peat moss is naturally low in pH, which is not good for vegetables. They don't like that. They want a higher pH, around 8. But adding the limestone to it will solve that issue. You can see I have 3 bales of peat moss for one of these 8x4 foot beds. You can see this is the brand I used from Lowe's. It's a generic brand. And you can see it's actually not too bad of a batch. Not a lot of large flakes of bark or sticks in it, but a few sticks, so it's pretty good peat. Batches of peat vary widely just because it really depends on where in the bog they've been mining it out that day. I think I'm actually going to add about 1/3 ratio of this stuff, because this is so heavy. So 1/3 2-year mushroom compost to 3 bales of peat in this. I'm going to add, I'd say it's going to take about a half a cup of crushed up dolomite limestone, and then I'm going to add also to it some perlite. I'd say about 2 gallons worth of perlite, and that will loosen it up even more. Here's the perlite brand I'm using. It's Sun Leaves chunky perlite. You can see it is a bit chunky, which is alright. Any perlite will do. And then I couldn't find my actual ground up limestone. I might have used it all. So I just got this bag of hydrated lime, but it's dolomite hydrated lime. Wouldn't be good for mushroom growing, but fine for garden vegetables. And I added about a cup's worth to each of these beds, and a little bit too to my other beds to sweeten the soil a little bit. And that should be enough. It's really hard to add too much. It won't burn the plants because it's pretty slow acting. And if I added ground up limestone, it'd be better, because that would last actually probably a couple years worth of pH rising. But I'm going to take just a regular hoe and mix it up dry. And this is the point where if you have a small kind of like garden rototiller, you know, those little tiny ones, that's great application to use it, because those are terrible for tilling up brand new soil, but they're great for tilling up nice loamy soil and mixing it in. And then I'm just going to leave them open and let the rain come and hydrate it all up. All of this stuff that's still not quite composted, it's going to get at least another 2 weeks before I put anything in here to break down more. Plus two, now that I have it mixed up, it'll get more air into the compost and break it down faster. It's probably why it wasn't fully composted, because it was so heavy. If I had turned the compost at least once, I would have got enough air into there and probably would have been fully composted by now, but oh well.